Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. Glad you're with me. Hope you're having a good day. You having a good day, guys? You having fun? Good. So, I got a note, and it said CNN had 175 racism lawsuits against it, and I was like, wow, that's interesting. I got to check that out. That seems like a lot. And especially, I will tell you, frivolous racism suits are all over the place. I didn't jump to conclusions like, oh, see this, CNN. I went out and said, I want to research it and see what's going on. And I did. And I want to just read you this. And we discuss it. I want to, CNN's got its problems, but I don't know if race is one. They're based in Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia. Could be some shenanigans around what I'm about to tell you, but we'll see. So anyway, it says this. A federal judge in Georgia has blocked out a lawsuit against Time Warner that alleged rampant racial discrimination at some of its television networks, including CNN and TBS. On Tuesday, the case was dismissed, and the judge's remarks that any amendment would be futile. The lawsuit came from Celeste Henley, who says she worked at CNN for 7 years, and Ernest Colbert Jr., who worked at TBS for 2 decades. Together, they brought individual civil rights claims as well as punitive class action ones that aim to challenge an alleged pattern and practice of racial discrimination in performance evaluations, compensation, and promotions and terminations. Attorneys for the plaintiffs suggested there were hundreds more who would join the lawsuit, and upon such news, the case gained notoriety in conservative-leaning circles. And I'll just stop it there because the rest of it's pretty incidental. So here's what I would say. Black folks at companies have a way of measuring themselves that differs from normal people. And I'm not trying to be, I know they're brothers and sisters. Kevin, I work my butt off. They do. There's some hardworking black folks. The majority of them are hardworking black folks that do the best job. Wouldn't matter who's in the job. They do the best job under the worst, whatever circumstances. And they perform at a level of humanity, right? But then there's another group that does nothing but look for reasons to bellyache. They take advantage of every rule. They know how long breaks can be. They know when to punch the clock to get the most time credited to their time card. I can tell you song and dance. And by the way, this isn't limited to just black folks, but I'm just saying black folks, black leftists, let's just be clear, have a tendency to look for ways to take advantage of a company versus saying, you know what, this company's done well by me. I'm going to do well by the company. So when I see these lawsuits where black people go, oh, I was abused and they didn't promote me and all this, I think to myself, just a loser. Somebody who couldn't hack it and didn't figure out soon enough that they had to actually be good. Maybe they got hired on affirmative action or something, but they got to be good. And now they're mad. They're belly aching. Wishful thinking now. Wish I had done better, done more at the job. Wish I hadn't been so this or that. Didn't have an attitude. My sister's a good example. I mean, she's good at what she does, but she's very sullen sometimes. And she's been in a job a long time, and she's an IT person that, on a level 4 help desk. She's very sharp, but she gets jaded. And all these white people calling me with their problems, Kevin. I mean, I'm like, wow, really? The problems that keep you employed? Well, that's true. I know it's true. So anyway, they sued these guys, and the judge throws it out at CNN. And there's a part of me, that being honest, it says, I wish he hadn't. Sometimes these companies like CNN need to face the music of the things that they have gone through. Do you think CNN learned anything from this? You think CNN's going, you know what? Maybe we should take a different tact on all this liberalism because we almost got caught up in it. We almost had to pay a lot of money out because of liberalism, leftism, call it whatever you want. I don't know if they're going to learn. But, again, there's that part of it, but then there's the other side of it, the side of sanity that says, look, I don't know, performance evaluations, compensation, promotions, and terminations can be objective, and some of it can be subjective. They're in Atlanta. I can't imagine CNN Atlanta with a city that's overwhelmingly black. I don't know what percentage, but I can't imagine Atlanta would allow CNN to operate with impunity when it comes to race relations. I would think people in Atlanta would go, no, CNN, you'll be held to a higher standard. 13.7% of the population is black, supposedly, something like that. Well, you know what I'm going to do? We're going to make sure that you have at least 14% black. I bet you money that CNN is at least 14% black in the city of Atlanta. I bet you. Not only that, in a city that's now, I believe, become overwhelmingly black in terms of Atlanta proper. And again, I want to get these statistics for you during the break. But a town like that, a city like that, you would be happy that you have a CNN headquartered there. CNN could move their headquarters somewhere. It would be a boom to an economy. I hope companies start moving their companies to smaller towns where there's not a college or a university, where people can think for themselves. I hope that happens soon. Anyway, I don't know if this story has as much interest to you as it does to me, but, because I am on both sides of this. Anyway, let's move on, because I'm maybe you guys don't even seem interested. Producers, and y'all are the ones who found me this story. So there you go. House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi. 30-year slumber last week. She woke up from it and decided to be outraged by Confederate statues. Think about that. All these leftists, the people who these statues are built in honor of, their fathers and forefathers. Well, there would be forefathers, yeah. These are the people that are now complaining about the statues. And Pelosi finds the statues reprehensible, and she wanted Ryan to remove them. But it turns out her family tree history makes her outrage a bit awkward. As I read this, Red Alert Politics dug up a bit of history to find that the Pelosi's own family, Thomas D'Alessandro, I knew she had some Latino in her, dedicated a statue to the Confederate General Robert E. Lee. Here's what he said when he was mayor of Baltimore. Today, with our nation beset by subversive groups and propaganda, we seek to destroy our national unity. We can look for inspiration to the lives of Lee and Jackson to remind us to be resolute and determined in preserving our sacred institutions. I don't know who that Lee guy is, but I know who Jackson is. Yeah, you listening to him right now. So Pelosi's father dedicated something to not only Robert E. Lee, but also to Andrew Jackson. That's who he was talking about. I can speak to Andrew Jackson being a slave owner and an abhorrent man who essentially to put the Indians on the Trail of Tears. He's a horrible guy. Called them savages. So how does Pelosi reconcile that with her own past? Should she resign? Should her father be stricken from being mentioned in the records? What? How do we punish her and her family for supporting slavery?
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.